You know that feeling, right? That kind of icky feeling you get when someone is really trying to sell you something? That pressure, that manipulation? Yeah, we've all been there. But what if there's a totally different way to do it? Today, we're going to dive into how you can be influential, how you can be persuasive without any of that pressure and without feeling like you're selling out.
And let's be real, a lot of this skepticism comes from that whole online guru culture. It's just full of these promises of, mind control tactics and high-pressure strategies that feel like they're designed to scam you, not to actually help you. It's really no wonder so many of us are on guard against anything that even smells like persuasion.
So that brings us to the big question, doesn't it? Is there another way? How can you actually communicate your value, your idea, your product with an energy that just feels good for you and for them? How do you create that right vibe? Well, that is exactly what we are going to break down.
Okay, so first things first, we've got to understand the problem. Let's really explore this whole guru sales trap and get to the bottom of why these old school tactics just feel so, wrong.
You see, this is kind of where it all goes wrong. It starts with this idea of sales manipulation, and it's usually pushed by gurus who are, frankly, just looking out for number one. They use these so-called mind control tactics, but here's the thing. It doesn't actually work in the long run. All it really does is create this wall of buyer resistance. The harder you push, the more they're going to pull away.
But here's a really important way to look at this. If you've tried these methods and they didn't work, or if you've been on the receiving end of them, don't just write it off as a loss. Every single mistake is a lesson. These experiences are actually super valuable because they teach us exactly what not to do. They point us in a much better direction. And that leads us right into the solution. So in this next section, we're going to explore how you can sell without being saley by making one huge, fundamental shift, moving from a pushy energy to an energy that pulls people in.
And let's just get this out of the way right now. Yes, absolutely, 100%. You can be successful, you can make money, you can be incredibly influential without being that pushy, salesy person that we all dread. It's not just possible, it's actually way more effective.
This chart just lays it out perfectly. On one side, you've got push energy. That's all about manipulation. It feels forced, and like we said, it just creates resistance. But then you have pull energy, and that is a whole different ballgame. It's focused on real influence. It works because it builds genuine trust, and the whole thing feels less like a sales pitch and way more like a natural, helpful conversation.
So you're probably asking, okay, how do I actually create that pull energy? Well, it all starts with one foundational skill. The absolute bedrock of influencing people and building trust is mastering the art of rapport.
So what is rapport, really? It's not about being fake or just, copying someone's body language. It is the genuine skill of creating a real connection. It's about taking the time to truly understand and step into their world, to see things from their perspective.
And you can build this skill with three main pillars. First, be like a chameleon. Just subtly adapt to their communication style, their pace. Second, try to understand different personality archetypes. Now, that's a whole deep topic for another day, but just knowing that people process information in different ways is a huge first step. And third, master your tonality. So often, how you say something is way more influential than the words you actually use.
Okay, so once you've got that foundation of rapport, then you can start to guide the conversation. And this isn't about some rigid script, it's about mastering a natural, ethical flow to your conversation. This flow is so simple, but it is incredibly powerful. It all starts with active listening, like truly hearing what they're saying. When you do that, you can start to understand their real buying motivators, not just the surface-level stuff. That then allows you to naturally address any resistance they might have, because you get where it's coming from. And the final step is to project absolute certainty that you can help them.
I have to pause on this for a second because it's just so important. The number one skill of anyone who is truly influential, a great leader, a great salesperson, anyone, is not talking. It's active listening. It's all about understanding them before you ever try to make them understand you.
If you can adopt this one mindset, it changes everything. When you truly believe there's gold in every lead, meaning there's a valuable insight or a genuine way to help in every single conversation, you stop focusing on just making the sale. You start focusing on the person, and that right there is where real connection happens.
Okay, now for the final piece of the puzzle, the really cool advanced stuff. When you get the fundamentals down, you can start developing what honestly feels like a sixth sense in conversations, and this is the power of sensory acuity.
So what is sensory acuity?
Think of it like this. It's your ability to tune into the unspoken channel. It's noticing that tiny hesitation in someone's voice or the subtle shift in their posture. This sixth sense gives you a way deeper understanding of what's really going on, far beyond the words they're actually using.
And this brings us full circle, back to that fourth step we mentioned in the conversational flow, absolute certainty. Now, this is not about arrogance. It's a deep, unshakable belief that you can genuinely help. It isn't something you say, it is an energy that you project. When you have truly listened, you've understood, and you believe in your solution, that certainty is felt by the other person. And that is the most persuasive thing of all.
So, I'll leave you with this one question to think about. What if we just reframed this whole thing? What if true influence isn't about the transaction, about closing a sale? What if it's really about the connection? What if it's about opening a relationship? When you make that little shift in your mind, believe me, everything changes.